give me the other side, because beef, it takes two to beef. You can't beef by yourself. Welcome to the show, Johnny Long.
Hello. Good afternoon.
And welcome, Dane Cash.
Hello, good morning.
Gentlemen, where do we want to kick off this fantastic show today? We're smack in the middle of Tour de France Femmes, which it feels a bit weird not to talk about like whatever happened today in that. But frankly, there's a much better podcast for that, which is the Wheel Talk Pod. They are running daily episodes every single day over on the Wheel Talk channel. You need to go subscribe over there. You need to listen. I was listening to yesterday's stage episode on my bike ride this morning. They're taking the best of our pod, I would say, like the eating in Japanese restaurants, and really seem to be enjoying themselves.
Oh, good.
Yeah, no, genuinely, it's super fun and very informative, and you should go check it out. So go do that. We are going to stick not entirely to the men's peloton, because I think we maybe kick off with a bit of Tour de France Femmes beef, Johnny.
Well, let's.
Is it beef? Is it chicken? Is it?
Here's the question.
Okay.
Well, in France, so it's definitely not a vegetarian meal. Although they are getting better at that.
They are.
Boof.
Yeah. While we won't necessarily go all into the dynamics of the race and what's happening, we'll specialize in something that's firmly in our domain.
Yep.
Which is the beef.
Beef.
Any beef, cooked however you want. So this beef emerged. Well, the latest instance of beef flaring up was around Demi Vollering's nasty crash at the end of stage 3, where many people pointed out that it was nice to see Vollering at least accompanied by two teammates helping her get across the line, because maybe that wouldn't have happened in her past life at SD Works Pro Time. But then after, Vollering made it across the line, her new boss at FDJ Suez, Steven Delcourt, told Sporza, don't know where Sporza came from, that the mentality of other teams in the peloton is unacceptable. This is quotes, truly disrespectful. They're playing with lives like that. Demi wants to be up front, but they're constantly blocking her. Presumably saying that the crash was kind of caused, I guess, a bit by not letting Demi have, as far as Delcourt sees it, her rightful place at the front of the peloton where it's safer.
Mm-hmm. Well, there was a bit of back and forth on this, wasn't there? Because didn't
well,
give me the other side, because beef, it takes two to beef. You can't beef by
always.
yourself.
You can. It just doesn't get you very far. That's a very quiet, angry life. The person who hit back, I presume, just based. This wasn't because of any involvement necessarily, but maybe took it upon himself. Visma Lisa Bikes, Jos van Emden. Remember that name? He's now in charge of the women's Visma team.
Good time trialist.
Good time trialist. Good beefer as well, because he said that Delcourt's words were, quote, completely ridiculous, and that he'd just been influenced by Demi by her dramatic behaviour. Now, I'm going to call a red flag on the play here, because a dude working in a women's sport calling women dramatic, no sir, nope. Not even if you're Dutch, you can't do that. I'm just going to say it. Van Emden wasn't quite done there. He continued, Demi really thinks she's in a golden cage. Sure, she's the best rider, but that doesn't mean everyone has to move aside for her. Well, if Jos remembers what it's like in the men's peloton, that is almost always what happens. maybe it happens because the best rider's team is the strongest, or he's the strongest and can put himself at the front. Yeah. But I'm sure it's not always that simple, and a lot of the time it's the best riders being like, hello, smaller pro team, get out of my way or I will make you pay for it. Do you want me to carry on, or do we want to discuss this first bit?
Let's discuss this first bit. So,
yeah.
I mean, the point of discussion here is Demi correct in that she should be given more room, or is Van Emden correct in that no, like you have to sort of fight for position just like everybody else? And I think it's a bit of both. I mean, yeah, I feel like I can now say this because I've been covering the sport longer than pretty much all of the riders that are current racers have been racing. It's like I've seen a couple generations come through, and so I've also seen every single generation say this about the one that came that comes
Yes.
next. Every single one is like, there's no respect in the peloton anymore.
Yeah.
Back in my day, we respected our elders, and then they become elders, and they feel disrespected, and they say that it's not happening anymore. So I would say there's nothing really new there. But
No.
at the same time, you watch like Pogacar come through the peloton, and he is given a ton
The
of
red
room.
carpet.
Yeah, like a ton of room. And it's not it's not a respect thing. It's that you don't want to be the asshole
Yeah.
that knocks them down, right?
Well, even
you
when sorry, Dane, even when
No,
the Uno X rider,
I think we're about to say the same thing.
the Uno X rider accidentally was
Yeah.
involved in Pogacar hitting the floor and then just immediately like got death threats, basically.
Yeah, you don't want to be that guy.
You don't want to be that guy.
So what's phase 2 of this, Jonny?
Well, also what I would say is that if the shoe was on the other foot, I'm sure Van Emden would have an opposite view to this, but that's by the by. The next bit comes courtesy of the Guardian's Jeremy Whittle, who papped both Delcourt and Van Emden before Wednesday's stage, I believe, having a heated conversation, as Jeremy put it, for 20 minutes. So clearly trying to get to the bottom of it. Unfortunately, that didn't seem to patch things up, as after the stage, Delcourt responded once more to what responded for the first time to what Van Emden said, and said, "For me, he is foolish and only thinks about himself." And what you got to remember is that Delcourt is saying this all in French. So give it like Madio levels of spice and anger. Matt Denif has been covering the Vollering story post crash. Was saying how the start of stage 4 was like almost in tears at, I guess, from the worry and maybe a bit of pain or whatever. But seemingly it's not affected Vollering's race so far. Was up there on stage 4, I believe. Stage 5, and with a chaotic finale. I'm pretty sure. It's hard to remember the numbers and the days. So it seems to be okay. And then we've basically got the mountains ahead. So Vollering's like half a minute off GC at the time of recording, and around like the likes of Pauline from Prevost, who's a Visma rider. So maybe we'll see this continue. Maybe race will do the talking now. I've enjoyed it, if that's all we have in terms
I do feel like the Visma organization as a whole, and this is men's and women's, maybe has decided to add an element of psychological warfare to what they're doing. It didn't work at the Tour de France, but they were definitely sniping. Like it
almost
UAE
seemed to
and
work,
Pogacar
didn't it?
Well, we have a whole Grisham Neerman bit later in the show too.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But no, you're right, Dane. Like, I think, well, you say it had no effect. I think definitely it probably weighed on Pogacar a bit at the Tour. I think it definitely seems to be something where they're, employing some, what would you call it, negative? I can't remember if that's what negative football means, but it's you're trying to beat them. You're trying to beat the man and the game, right? And play the game. But
maybe it did have an
I
effect.
like
It's just Pogacar's so good, it didn't actually mean that.
Didn't
they were
really. It
beat.
just made him miserable. But I'm all here for this, to be honest. Like, I think there'll be a range, especially when it comes to women's racing. I think there'll be a range of responses to this, and I know that part of the what's great about women's racing is you kind of lack, at least on the face of it, a lot of the sort of cloak and daggers, and sometimes the outright professed ego of things. Like, if you just walk around the start of women's Roubaix compared to men's Roubaix, and it's an infinitely nicer place, right? It's more like, we want to win, but also we're kind of not forgetting that this is just a bike race, and the whole point is to kind of have fun. But having said that, I think for me, and I definitely prefer men's racing. I think that's fine to say, and I follow that more closely. I like all this stuff. I think it adds to it, right? I can deal with that, and it gives greater context and flavor to the actual sport.
I feel like one of the things I like about this particular beef is its director beef. I think director beef is among the most fun of the beefs, because it's like manager beef in football, for example. Like we need a cycling's Mourinho would just be. I say here in your Wolves shirt.
I'm saying this could potentially become our sort of Alex Ferguson, Arsene Wenger. We could have pizza being thrown from one bus to another bus or something like that.
Well, because when it's riders, I think it's fair. One, I think it's fair to be like, well, is it real beef? Are they actually are we just hyping this up because we want them to be competitors, right? When it's riders, when it's directors, one, they usually speak way more bluntly because they're not super tired from a bike race and they're not like trying to avoid the press. Which is makes it way more fun. And two, like they don't have the sort of direct, like Delcourt and Van Emden are not racing each other really.
No.
And so it has this sort of like sort of secondary, like tangential kind of effect where they can kind of go at each other without it feeling as personal, maybe.
Well, like
which makes it more fun, is what I'm saying.
Like like Toto Wolff and Christian Horner in that rivalry, they kind of then became like the catty, people doing that with their hands, like in the playground, and letting the drivers race. God, it's hard to remember these things. But yeah, it's great. I mean, I hope this is the start of a years long beef that just every day at every race. I mean, it shouldn't be to my liking, but if I was, that's how I'd like it.
If I'm involved with the FDJ team, I feel like I'm just happy to be in someone's beef now. Like not very long ago, that nobody cares about them. They're not getting involved in beef, right?
Yeah,
but
they're definitely
now,
not beefing. Yeah,
now they've got Demi Vollering, like they get to be involved in the beef, and they're probably annoyed. Delcourt's probably annoyed, but at the same time, at the back of his mind, he's probably thinking, "Hey, people care enough about us now to beef with us. Like that's a win right there."
We're gonna sell so many Suezes. It's gonna be incredible.
Yeah, I mean, I want to buy a canal. Let's do it.
Do we have to take sides in this beef?
Yeah, obviously.
I think
that's how it works.
Spin Cycle Podcast, do we have an official stance on the beef?
Oh, as a podcast, not individually, I'm happy to do that.
Well, we can, yeah.
Only if I get to decide.
I mean, so what's your initial perspective on this, Jonny? Who do you side with?
Got to be Vollering. Got to be Vollering and the French at their own race. You can't be coming in as the Visma Behemoth or Behemoth.
Well, yeah, they've got a French rider though leading them.
Yeah.
So
at this, yes, but look, if FDJ Suez win the Tour with Vollering, do we get Amadio arriving in support for the final stage and weeping, like fully like French tricolor, face makeup, face paint on? I just, French team win or French rider win. That's a good conundrum.
French rider win is better than French team win.
It is, but does Visma? That would be like a French. That would be like Kevin Vauquelin going to Ineos and winning the Tour,
which would still be good.
It would still be good, but there'd be that tiny little. You kind of need the French riders to win on the French team for everyone to go bananas now. Well, I guess Alaphilippe with Quick Step.
I think it's all about the rider. I think it's in this sport. I think it's all about the rider.
Vauquelin is going to Ineos, right? Isn't that what we've heard?
Supposedly, yeah. So yeah, that's why I wasn't just.
That'd be good.
Well, I guess we can't have an official Spin Cycle stance because I disagree with you, Jonny, and I'm on Team Visma here, and I think that you have to get your elbows out in the peloton, and nobody is in a golden cage. That's what I think. I'm on Team Jos Van Emden here.
Well, that's good. So Dane maybe has the deciding vote.
Are you the split? You just the decider, Dane?
I kind of feel like I'm on Delcourt's side here. Or Vollering's side. Slightly. I don't know. I feel like Van Emden went a little far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think he went far enough.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
He was basically sexist, Caley. So if you want to side with a sexist, then be my guest.
I didn't like that particular line, but I do think that he's right.
Yeah.
That
good save.
I think you should disavow officially.
I officially disavow the line about the drama, but I avow the line about the you can't ride the peloton like you're in a golden cage or whatever that line was.
And there's the nuance afforded by not just being quoted in a beef and being able to sort of surf through the beef and pick sides.
Beef's good. Beef's good for sport in general. Should we talk about Lotte Kopecky as well in this segment? Well, or we want to save that one maybe.
Well, it's just I've been like watching that story and like the results, and the main thing that stood out to me was how a number of media were like Belgian media and Dutch media, I think, were saying how Lotte Kopecky had not spoken to the media for the first 2 days because she, didn't want to, was feeling bad, which is kind of her, right? I guess you definitely get away with it more when you're not like a multi-millionaire, male rider. I think that's absolutely fair enough. But basically, I'm just trying to find the actual quotes so I don't have to make it up as I go along. She said finally that she had a very long preparation, been away from home for a long time, and wanted to start strong, but it all went wrong. And that the fun factor is very important to like when she's racing, and that's lacking at the moment. And while she has had like 2 or 3 amazing years, to then like have a dip in form like this, and especially in the World Championships, is very difficult. So clearly having a really rough time of it, while also having a lot of expectation. So kind of sucks.
Perhaps,
at least Lorena Wiebes has won a couple of stages. So that probably takes the pressure off a bit.
Perhaps the World Championship or the World's jersey curse has transformed somewhat. Because for a long time, it was like you win Worlds and the next year you don't win anything. And
Yes.
Pogacar has already sort of like thrown that aside. Kopecky's proven that's nonsense. But maybe it just makes you bummed out.
Yeah, like drives
About
you into
bike- about bike
existential
racing?
crisis, which
Yeah,
is also
it
what
just-
Pogacar seems to be in.
This is what I mean. It's like
Yeah.
both of our World Championships are having existential crises
Yeah.
at the Tour de France.
They both won Flanders, and then they
Yep.
both go to the Tour de... Yeah, wow.
And the
I don't want the
crises are
rainbow
there.
jersey. That doesn't sound very fun.
I was going to also suggest that maybe because Pogacar has been so successful in the rainbow jersey, it then has really pushed out the Juju and pushed it all onto Kopecky. So Kopecky has to suffer under double rainbow curse that even Kopecky's not strong enough to overcome. We should have put
be
our conspiracy hats on for that, but we forgot.
That's right here.
This is there.
Let's take a quick break. When we come back, I think that listeners will be shocked to hear there's more beef. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Grisha Nierman. I think safe to say our favorite director sportif in the entire men's peloton. Is that safe?
Yeah. I mean, there's quite a few I like in terms of entertainment value. I would say yes. The Tadej Pogacar of entertaining sports directors. Would you like to know what he's been up to most recently?
Yes.
So, Grisha Nierman doesn't mind an Instagram post. Sort of does a few raps, few videos here and there, which you wouldn't necessarily expect from a virginal middle-aged, former racist. He's German, isn't he? He's not Dutch. I get confused sometimes. Not necessarily what you would expect. Yeah, 49 years old. Birthday in November, so make sure to put him on your card list. He, for a man who sort of still sports a slight Mohican and presumably still has the shark necklace underneath his sponsor correct Nike t-shirt, he is a fan of AI images, it would seem, because in his stage 21 pre-race meeting slideshow presentation, like when they put it up on the front of the bus on the big screen, on the second slide of like a stage where there doesn't need to be a huge amount of not what's the opposite of a debrief? A pre-brief? They should call it that if it doesn't
briefing.
exist. A briefing. Thank you. He has an image made by AI, not made by himself, made by someone else, which he's seen on social media. I did reporting on this. There, it's Jonas Vingegaard and Wout van Aert in the front of a car. Jonas Vingegaard looks a bit surprised. Wout van Aert has like a weird little grin, and then nose smushed into the like rear window is Tadej Pogacar. Now, what this is evoking is the scenes in the final day of the Tour where a Visma car stopped very suddenly at the start, like going through the paddock, with Tadej Pogacar riding right behind it, who then basically crashed into the back of the car and had like no big injuries, but a little bit. But Tadej Pogacar then joking that he got brake checked by Visma, which is kind of what it looked like, even though I don't think that was the case, but the Visma car messed up. That was kind of pushed to the side. Their beef at the Tour was kind of over because Pogacar had destroyed them. But this seems a step too far to not only use this photo as like sort of a funny icebreaker, I would presume, at the start of the stage 21 briefing, but then to post the fact that you put this in your presentation on Instagram where everyone can see it. He's reigniting the beef. He's already preparing. Like Richard Plugger's already said, they took learnings from this Tour de France and they will use it for the 2026 Tour de France. Maybe this is it.
Already in action.
It's already happening.
One, it's shocking that more riders don't go through the back windows of vehicles.
Correct.
Because they ride like a foot behind them, and really, what are they doing? Like, they have important things to be doing on their bicycles, and they should be trying not to crash. I don't know if you recall this, but in 2001, Jan Ulrich went through the back window.
Oh yeah, when I was 7 years old, I remember that.
Yeah, Jan Ulrich went through the back window of a car, like right before the tour started, and it like kind of messed up his race. So I'm a little confused as to why they do that. But beyond that other tangent, I like the fact that Christian Nierman is using this as an icebreaker in his morning meeting in the bus. I think that more directors sportifs should use clever memes to speak to the Gen Z and even Gen Alpha youths that are Gen Z, right? They're all Gen Z.
Is Vingegaard's barely? Is he like in between Gen Z and millennial? No,
he's
like
Vingegaard's
26.
Gen Z.
Is he?
No,
He's
Gen Z.
definitely.
He doesn't have.
Millennials
the.
are old now.
Yeah, but he doesn't have like. He's not a Gen Z at heart.
You got to speak their language.
He's
you
like
got
a
to
silent generation at heart. Is what he is.
I'm just saying you got to speak their language.
True.
And yeah, this seems like a fantastic way to do it.
So you have no problem with the sort of the mocking via AI slop of your car hurting your main rival and then blasting on the internet.
I think it's the only place where AI slop should be used is in mocking.
Okay. So what you're imagining is like on the next slide that we can't see is Marc Madio with a bunch of beers like running down the Champs-Élysées. And they've got one for every team.
I'm just sitting here trying to think of what AI slop meme I'm going to make for our next editorial meeting.
Oh, God.
Break the ice.
You're taking your learnings from...
Exactly. I am taking the learnings, and I am going to apply them.
The one thing I would say is that I can't think of anything more vexing than be like someone like poking fun at you via an AI slop image. Which has like little creative. It's perfect. It's like I'm annoyed on behalf of Tadej Pogacar, which may be a good thing at least because this may then relight the fire inside Pogacar, who says that he feeds off the rivalry to reach his level. Maybe it'd be great if he did, and we'd have a more competitive race next year. But
back in the good old days of 18 months ago, you would have had to Photoshop that image, right? Like picture of a car, both riders. Cut out to Pogacar's face, put it in the back. You have to find a photo of Pogacar looking surprised because he's about to hit a window. It would have taken, an hour?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And now you can just make it, and that's part of the vexing nature of the mockery.
Let's Christian Nierman just, well, he didn't have to make it. He just saw it on Instagram and was like, that's hilarious. That's going straight in my basket. And there we have it. So that's fun. I wonder... Yeah, I think he got away with it because it was like post-Paris. Everyone's kind of tuning out a bit. But
and Pogacar wasn't actually injured.
Pogacar wasn't injured.
Like
I think he was a little bit annoyed though, for sure.
Oh, for sure. I mean, running in the back of a car. But again, his own damn fault. Don't follow the car so close, bro.
True.
Like, what? This is like when they yell at us when we're in the paddock in the morning. And we're like wandering around the buses, and we just get like yelled at by some rider who's going like 25k an hour down a road with 1,000 people in it. Just slow down. What are you doing?
Agreed.
What are you doing?
Would you like a little update on Pogacar and whether he's we don't know whether he's cheered up or not.
Well, he's not going to the Vuelta.
He's not going to. We didn't have that confirmed. No, we didn't have that confirmed.
We didn't have confirmed on Monday.
Yeah, now
we guessed it. We guessed it. But.
Yeah, now we can have the whole, we can title the show Ayuso Leads at the Vuelta. And that should have been our opening segment.
Question for Dane. I'm going to bring back a bit from the tour. Hi, Dane. Jonny Long, escapecollector.com. Do you think Pogacar's complete disregard and just complete ambivalence towards the Vuelta a España reduces it to not even being a Grand Tour anymore? Because Pogacar needs to win the Vuelta, supposedly, to complete the Grand Tour set, but doesn't even seem bothered.
Yeah, I think it is equal footing to the Giro in that way, because at the Giro this year we got a great race because he skipped it, right?
Okay,
and so I think it's fair to say it's just the same as the Giro. It's not worse than the Giro, or
Follow-up question, Caley Fretz, escapecollective.com. Would you say, Dane Cash, that Pogacar is just waiting until he starts to slide down the inevitable backside of his athletic prowess to take on the Vuelta because he feels like he can probably still win it even in that instance?
Again, that sounds a lot like the Giro to me. So I don't really know why we hype one up and trash the other. Jonas Vingegaard's going to the Vuelta this year. So let's, Also, hey, the race is coming up. Can we, even if you feel this way, can you just like tamp it down for like a month to,
okay, agreed, we'll do that. The only reason I think it was safe to say it is because we're recording this on Thursday, 31st of July. So as soon as it hits August,
once it's August,
then it's world season. Then it's detente, complete detente.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for that, Dane. Machin, the U18 Emirates sports manager, gave an interview with Spanish newspaper AS, who kind of gave context we already knew around Pogacar being bored and annoyed. He said that Pogacar likes being competitive. From the moment he had to wait for others to attack and had to ride defensively, he didn't enjoy it anymore. It wasn't fun for him or the crowd. Attacking is in his nature, but with a 4-minute lead over second place, you have to think about being consistent. So my simple answer to that would be, don't just like attack from the bottom of the Hautacam when you mishear Jonny Narvaez as a joke.
I was thinking about this in my ride today because we talked on Monday a fair amount about like whether it was a good tour or not. And whenever we have that conversation, there's inevitably a whole bunch of people who don't like that we have that conversation, basically. Either maybe they enjoyed the tour more than we did, which is entirely possible. But I was thinking about the fact that like we felt on the ground, and again, on the ground, I think is different from watching at home. Like it's just fundamentally different. It just is. We felt like the air was taken out of the race a little bit on the Hautacam stage. And as I was riding along today, I was like, was this tour, ruined is too big of a word, right? But like, was this tour altered significantly simply by Jonathan Narvaez not understanding his assignment? Like, did that basically kind of, again, I would like a different word than ruin because it was the remaining 10 days were still good fun bike racing.
Yeah.
But the GC fight was basically over. Was the GC fight at the Tour de France basically ended accidentally by Jonathan Narvaez not hearing the radio call correctly and just going ham at the very bottom of the Hautacam, which probably resulted in Pogacar taking more time than he would have otherwise. Maybe he would have only taken 45 seconds or something like that if that had not been the case. And we would be living in a totally different world right now. We would have lived in a totally different world for the remaining 8 stages or whatever it was of the Tour
send
de
your
France.
complaints to Narvaez, is what you're
I
saying.
am going to send my complaints to Narvaez.
We're renaming the butterfly effect the Jonny Narvaez effect.
Yes. That's a great idea.
One would think the moment, whenever Pogacar did decide, if he didn't do it that day, he would have gotten the time.
No, that much is very clear. But I would just sort of, I was riding along. I was hypoxic because I'm back at altitude and I haven't ridden my bike in 5 weeks.
You live hypoxic.
Yeah, I'm just like I couldn't really think straight. And I was riding with a friend of mine, a neighbor of mine, and he's way stronger than me right now. And I was like trying to hold it all together. And this is what was going through my head as I was doing this. Anyway, back to Pogacar. So we have a bit more insight from AS. He's definitely sad. He definitely doesn't want to have to play defense at bike races. Was there a sense then from that interview that, because he didn't have to play defense, he could have gone and won the race by like 8 minutes. That's sort of, I guess, the big question for me is why play the defense? Like why not just like attack early and keep going and be like, I'm just gonna like screw it, I'm gonna win this thing. It's gonna be like the Giro last year. I'm gonna win this thing by 11 minutes or whatever.
I do think that in contrast to the Giro, which the field around him was bad because it's the Giro, this year at the Tour, I actually think after the Hautacam stage, I don't want to say he was like under pressure, but I don't think he was like miles ahead in the same way. Or else I think he would have won a bunch of stages. Like after the midway point of the race, when he said something about winning more stages, he didn't win any more stages, and I think it was because He felt he kind of needed to ride a bit conservatively.
I think that was his team too. Like they were missing so many strong guys that like they just couldn't control. Like Niels Pollitt alone cannot hold the entire Tour de France together.
Yeah.
Even with a bunch of yelling like he was trying to do on that one stage. Like he just so the breaks were getting 90 seconds further up the road than I think that Poggy would have liked.
Yeah.
Because otherwise he was always the first of the GC guys across the line, so he could have won 6 or 7.
Yeah, he was definitely a bit unwell, as was his team. I reckon maybe some also like demons from the Giro being like, we can't just mess around here. We need to we need to win it how maybe most teams win the Tour de France and just kind of strangle it to death.
You're talking about this year's Giro,
the Del Toro Giro.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yes. Sorry.
Yeah. I think that's probably accurate as well. Should we move on to Ralph Aldag and Red Bull-Bora Hansgrohe? So I guess I can set this one up a little bit because we've talked about it a fair amount. And I would say Ralph Aldag is the director I spoke to. It was podium for the director that I spoke to most at the Tour de France in the last couple of weeks. And he's been let go, or by mutual consent. Not let go.
Mutual. It's mutual.
It was mutual.
Yeah, it's always mutual.
They both decided to part ways from Red Bull, and I think this is an interesting one because we've talked a fair amount about that team underperforming, and the fact that they came in ahead of the Tour de France last year, big splashy launch. Anybody who's watched the latest Unchained, sort of you get a good reminder of sort of how big that was and how much money it felt like there suddenly was, and truly how much money they have now, and Roglic has underperformed. Lipowitz did his thing at the Tour podium. That's fantastic. But they've done almost nothing in the one days, and they've generally just been a very quiet team under Aldag. Right now, this is one of those weird things where he's pretty universally liked among the riders. Like Jai Hindley posted a really nice thing about him. I've heard other riders speak really nicely about him. So I think it's a little bit unusual on that front. It's a bit like the Matt White situation, to be honest, and where you've got someone who's running the program, who is, well liked by the riders, doing a decent enough job, has been doing it for a very long time, but you've got new money in, or at least a sort of a new shift in perspective from the upper management, and they decide to move on.
I would kind of differentiate this from the White situation a little bit, in that I think Aldag's team, the team under Aldag, was doing significantly better than the Checo team was doing.
Yeah, but they have way more money.
Yeah, I mean they won the Vuelta, which some of us consider a Grand Tour, and then they just finished third at the Tour de France, and like Lipowitz suddenly looks like the podium contender of the future. They're also going to have the other Tour de France podium contender on their team moving forward. Yeah. So it does seem a little surprising to me that they're just going to throw out what they had.
Well, part of this is this was like the forward party for Remco Evenepoel's arrival, because Sven van Turnhout, I hope I said that right, has long been rumoured as part of the Remco package, if and when Remco is going to come over. Van Turnhout was the former Belgian national coach, so obviously, super good relationship with Remco. That you can't, no matter how they're going to fit all the GC riders into one World Tour team, unless if Roglic stays, which he might not, but fitting like two head DSs basically also doesn't really work in management structures in that way. So the fact that it was done this week, immediately post-tour, does sense that, as we've kind of been hearing whispers, that the Remco stuff is probably taking place next week. We think.
We hear it's going to be confirmed, Monday? Is that right?
Yeah, that's what. I think other people have heard that as well. Like, I've seen other reports coming out of that, so I think we can be fairly sure on that, unless they're just taking everyone for a ride. But so yeah, it would seem like that's happening. I think we're supposed to say that for After Dark, but there you go. It's in the free bit now. That's my bad. But yes, I mean, Remco to Red Bull. I mean, we can talk about that when it happens. But a shame, because Ralph Aldag seemed like a pleasant enough guy.
Do we know?
Often this has to happen sometimes, unfortunately, because he probably gets it too. He's like, right, they've had the chance to hire this superstar rider. they kind of, probably has no relationship with Remco himself. He's like, well, he's going to want his guy in, especially in a team when you have all those GC guys, right? You don't want to come in and then you're the new guy and then they're already established. You want a whole new kind of reset. That's what Remco's coming for at the end of the day.
It feels very un-Red Bull to me, though, right? Like Red Bull's all about systems and building systems like in a way that makes the most sort of like objectively logical sense, and allowing your star rider to like bring their own management team doesn't really align with that. It would be like, like none of the if you think about like Red Bull in F1 or Red Bull in football, like they're not letting the stars. Well, maybe this isn't true actually in F1. I would say they're not letting the stars pick who manages them, but I think that's exactly what just happened in F1. So
maybe it's just the idea of having a gold Red Bull helmet, and they're just whatever you want. We've got to make it happen.
Whatever you want to do. Yeah. No, it feels a bit weird to me because I think that a lot of what they talked about when Red Bull came in was like, we're going to build this, it's kind of the right way. We're going to build a structure. We're going to build a development team. We're going to pull riders through this system in a way that makes a lot of sense. We're going to, maybe try to change the sport. It was talking a big game, certainly. And so, yeah, to allow a rider that much internal power, I think is somewhat surprising. Maybe not. Maybe shouldn't be, but yeah, somewhat surprising to me.
Should we? Is Aldog going anywhere to our knowledge at the moment?
Do not know.
Haven't heard anything.
Okay.
Yeah, keep an eye on.
I hope he's enjoying a very nice holiday right now.
Yeah.
I think so. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, Ben Healy, celebrating and celebrating again. Welcome back, everybody. Ben Healy. He won a post-tour crit twice. Wow. Really impressive stuff.
Was that planned?
From the look of it, at the Criterium de Lisieux, the French listeners are going to already be shouting at me. I'm very sorry. So Ben Healy comes through this town, loads of fans there for one of these post-tour criteriums, which, if you didn't know, loads of races post-tour to get the afterglow of the race. The riders of the tour are paid,
make a bunch of money,
decent whack to turn up to kind of be present for everyone to come see them, and they often get to win. And it's an arranged race. They make it look like a race, which can be seen because Ben Healy finishes way ahead of this group of 4 riders, celebrates, hands off the bars. No one's really applauding, and then the riders come up and sort of starts wagging his finger, being like, nope, got to keep going. And not only did Ben Healy celebrate a lap early, he celebrated 10 laps early, which is fantastic. But they stuck to the script. 10 laps later, you never guess who actually ended up winning. Ben Healy.
Congratulations, wow. Ben Healy.
What a great ride.
What a great ride. Funnily enough, so to take the story, anything else you want to say about Ben Healy, or this story has further legs to it, which is great.
I mean, just that if you haven't seen the video, you should go see it because it's very funny.
Yeah.
It's extremely funny.
It's just great. This criterium took place in Lisieux, which is just east of Cannes, where the stage 5 time trial was, I believe. It was stage 5 time trial there, wasn't it? Yes.
Yep.
So big Kev country.
Big spicy Kev country.
Big spicy Kev country. Thank you, Kevin Vauquelin, for those who aren't aware. Unfortunately, Kevin Vauquelin was not able to make it because on Tuesday, I think it was, he broke his fibula. I think I read.
He basically broke his ankle. He took the tip off the bottom of his fibula. Yeah.
So this was announced by Arcadia B&B Hotels, Big Kev's team, as happened on the occasion of a domestic accident. Immediately, alarm bells for anyone who's spent more than 5 minutes, being aware of the Tour de France, thinks that is a classic post-tour drunk celebration injury.
Yep.
That screams of being in the Duplex nightclub under the Champs-Élysées, going wild for it, falling off something and breaking one of your very skinny ankles.
Yep. Seen it happen. Seen it happen.
Yeah.
But
I've seen riders not broken ankles, but like literally hauled out of the duplex, like underneath the arms of others, because they had like climbed up on something and fallen off of it. I will not name names, but I can tell you it's happened before.
You'd think they'd be done with climbing, but apparently not. Big Kev clearly got wind of what was being said about him, so he took to his own Instagram story to dismiss these rumors, saying, this is translated, to be precise, it was when I was walking down the stairs with my suitcase that he did himself the injury. And it wasn't at night either. Sorry to anyone who thought I was an alcoholic, and then did like a crazy like tongue out, eye closed emoji, as if like I am still a bit crazy though. So
that emoji is wild.
I don't believe him.
There's an even wilder one though, because he did the one that's the straight tongue out emoji. There's one where it's like jilted to the side. It's like I can get even crazier.
Yeah, he go wow.
Don't believe him.
So, no, I don't believe him either.
No.
I have to say.
Big
Although he's probably
partay.
pretty gutted at missing out on. I imagine he had a number of post-tour crits lined up.
Oh yeah, he would have made
So-
a lot of money in the next like 6 days, and
Yeah.
couldn't be part of any of it. Yeah,
So
Unfortunate for him.
Big guy. I mean, he's about to get a big fat Ineos contract, so I think he'll be all right.
he'll be okay. He will be okay. Yeah. No, I mean, we could ring up defectors Patrick Redford, who I do happen to know is in the duplex that night. See if he saw anything. But I feel like if anybody had seen anything, we would have heard about it already.
I think Patrick. I believe I woke because I was very much asleep and trying to catch up on sleep. So I woke up to a text in our group chat with Patrick being at like 1:25 a.m. being like, I'm heading to the duplex, which is a time to be heading to a nightclub. As a man in his 30s, he is way too late.
I can't imagine he lasted particularly long. But you had to see it. You have to see it to believe
That's
it.
true. That's true.
You had to see it to believe it.
Yeah.
Get in, get out, get on with your life.
Agreed.
I'm glad that he went. By the way, Patrick's just written sort of his last piece in Defector about the tour. It's a lovely piece. We are included in it multiple times, which is nice. And you should go read it if you're not a Defector member already. It's a very, I don't know, sits nicely alongside Escape Collective. I think particularly if you're into like American sports. They cover lots of like NFL and stuff like that. Do we have anything else before we head to After Dark?
Well, you know what? I think there's some rumours coming out about the next year's Tour de France already, so I think let's save that for After Dark. A couple of news hits. Tim de Klerk has announced he's retiring at the end of the year. So farewell, old tractor. We will see you again.
Yep.
And then, Dane, we do have some Spanish racing as we're basically in August now. San Sebastian.
That is accurate.
Is there anything to look out for there apart from just a probably fun race?
Yeah, I mean, well, I don't know if that was just a throwaway statement there, but I actually do think it is a really fun
No,
race.
I saying it. No, I
It's very
saying it
nice.
is a fun race, but
Yeah.
just like sometimes you get like one of the Remco breakaways, which makes
do-
it less. But he's not going to be there.
Yeah, I think it. Oftentimes you get like riders trying to squeeze out that last little bit of form after the tour, which is always fun. This year, not as many of those big names coming off the tour.
Okay.
Juan Ayuso will be there though.
Oh,
so,
great.
I mean, what else? That's all we need to talk about, really, right? He's the star. Oscar Onley, another guy who I think is going to the race and coming off of an awesome tour. Mark Hershey had a good race last year, and then Isaac Del Toro, who will be.
Yeah, he's been winning a bunch, hasn't he?
He's been in form, yeah, and hopefully we can see him do something other than,
Del Toro's
like
not going to the
collapse.
Vuelta, right?
No.
He's not. The team has this. I guess it's a policy, except they just made an exception. They don't like to send their young guys to 2 Grand Tours in a year.
Yeah, that's fine.
And then
Unless
they
you
just
are
decided that
Juan
Ayuso
Ayuso.
actually is going to go to the Vuelta.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, just one day stuff for Del Toro, who he's been winning a bunch of lower level races. So
Against his own teammates as well, so he is winning it against fair opposition.
True.
1, 2, 3 at the Prueba Villafranca. I think yeah. Arrieta first, Del Toro second, and Morgado third.
Won
so,
everything in Austria, I think, as well. Basically,
Yeah. Well,
crazy dude.
The Alpe d'Huez news, I like that. Alpe d'Huez should come back.
that's for After Dark.
Oh, okay. That's
well,
all
good
I'll say.
teaser then.
Yeah, I'll just tease it. All right, let's head after dark. How about that?
There we go.
Before we do, as I said at the beginning of the show, you need to be checking out the Wheel Talk podcast this week. It's really very, very good. It's very entertaining. And for me, it's kind of the best way for me to like truly follow the race, because what I'm doing is here in the States, it finishes up in Colorado here like, I don't know, like 8:30 in the morning or something like that. I'm busy like getting kids out the door, going to school, getting started with work and things like that. So I'm usually watching kind of out of the corner of my eye, and I'll watch highlights afterward, and then I'll pull up the pod, and it just like ties all the pieces together for me and make sure that if I missed anything interesting, they've always got it. They're running lots and lots of rider diaries, so you get lots of interesting stuff from inside the race itself. Make sure you go check that out. Just search Wheel Talk Podcast on wherever you get your pods, and you'll see a sort of Escape Collective looking thumbnail. Subscribe. Make sure you get them all. If you're a member, then you can get them all in the member feed anyway. So that's the other way to get them. escapecollective.com/join. Get that member feed. Get the Wheel Talk pod. They are doing an off mic segment, which is like our After Dark. And so you do get extra stuff if you are signed up. Also, if you're signed up, you get After Dark, which is where we're going right now.